So I have a little bit of experience with it, but I'm ready. I've got my ducks in a row, as we say.
Yeah, well, you know, you're telling your story.
Yes.
And why don't we go to the heart? Well, before we even get started into the facts of the story, why do you think this is important? You do explain it, especially, and I'll jump to the end of the book a little bit here, because this is so important to you. You actually go into great detail that, you know, you had to answer the same question now that you answered in 1998. You were asked to go before Ken Starr.
Yes.
And what am I going to do about it? And you knew the answer, and that you have to speak up. Why?
Yes. Well, at that time, when I was being investigated by Judge Starr, my fear was that if I didn't tell the truth 100%, once I had to testify, that they would jail me, and they told me they did. I mean, a few.
You were facing 7 years in jail if you didn't tell the truth.
At least, yeah. And a couple times, FBI agents involved in the investigation actually threatened to arrest me. I came to this conclusion, Sean, that telling the truth is important. Protect the Constitution and the oath that I took to the President of the United States and the Constitution, and that one man does not supersede that. All this happened because one man couldn't step up. The man that was the President of the United States at the time couldn't step up and be a man and say what he did, and it all would have been over.
You signed no confidentiality agreement, so you have every right to write this book.
That's correct. And the reason I'm coming out now is because I want everybody to know the truth. I want them to know how these people function. And I want them to know about the wake of destruction of people that they leave behind them. Mm-hmm. This is the truth. You know, I doubt, I don't know if I'm going to convince anybody how they're going to vote. The most important thing about voting is as soon as you become 18, register and vote. Vote your conscience and get educated on it. And I hope my book, my true life story here, helps people, young people especially, understand really how they work.
At the end of the book, you said, what I learned about the Clintons firsthand the hard way is very important. It's 2016, but with Hillary Clinton running for president again, it feels uncomfortable like the 1990s again, as if America were trapped in some great, cruel time machine, literally hurling us back to the land of Monica and Mogadishu and 1,000 other Clinton-era nightmares. Fool me once, as the saying goes, your fault. Fool me twice, the bottom line, you go on to say, my job in the 90s was to lay down my life for the president. My obligation today is to raise my voice to help safeguard the presidency from Bill and Hillary Clinton and to remind readers like you what happened back then. We all remember, or should remember, what a Clinton White House was like. If we board that time machine for a return trip, it's our fault.
Yes, and that's true. As we go on in the interview, I'm going to be able to expand a little bit more, but there's just so many examples of for instance, routinely in the very beginning, in the early 90s, Mrs. Clinton uses the term the right-wing conspiracy.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. It's not the right-wing conspiracy. It's continuous bad behavior and bad decisions. And even when they do try to do some kind of policy, something maybe good for the country, it completely falls apart because there's so many scandals going on, they can't focus on running the country.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used this analogy before, Sean. If you took every scandal that President Bill Clinton was involved in and put it on single spaces, you couldn't fit it on 2 pieces of paper. It's incredible.
You describe her leadership style as volcanic.